Garrett and Moshe said, oh, we've got this new thing going on. I said, okay, what's that? And then Moshe had actually already at that point coined Pearlfect. And I said, Pearlfect, and he said, okay, that's a no prep, minimal prep technique that uses an indirect resin veneer. And at first, just like all of you, you know, with polishability concerns and all that, I was like, not so sure that's the way that we should go. So anyway, he had this guy in Columbus, Ohio, which Garrett and I laughed about. It's not easy to get here from California. He had this great idea, and then he started transferring slowly, brainwashing me to say, okay, why don't you at least try this? You know, keep an open mind. That's, as we start today and as we finish today, what I want you all to do is just have an open mind, because it is. Some of these things are fairly new. Now, the other thing that kind of turned me on to this is that, you know, if you do a porcelain veneer, you've got a kind of a monochromatic layer that you can layer over the top, you know, incisively to get some character, or you can do some external staining. But Moshe is like, you know, with composite, you can set these layers not one over the other, but you can actually lay them horizontally over a tooth, and just like when you do a direct composite, and that way you get the characterization in a thinner layer. And I thought, well, why didn't I think about that too? So again, it was another positive. Okay, I'll give it a shot. So I came out here, and I don't know, Moshe and I, we spent a lot of time here drinking bedwetter tea and all that. But you know, I was watching him build these. So you know, he builds in the cervical layer, and he can have more warmth. And then just like as you do your direct composites, you can build in a mamelon form and have a higher value body form. And then if you want more incisal translucency, you can build that in. And then many times he'll go over the entire thing with the translucent layer to build in that depth. And when I saw that, I said, well, these are different. When we sat our first case out here, and the patient was up by the window, it was interesting because, you know, porcelain can be nice and white and have that high gloss shine, but these have that opalescence. And so you see the shine that Moshe is able to build in the restorations and the fit, and you'll see the fit of the case today. I mean, it fits like a glove. And as you start to look at that, and you look at the opalescence and the optical properties of the materials that we've been using, it was pretty amazing. You know, I sat there and I said, now, why would I not want to, you know, do this? So for me, it's been very eye-opening. When we go through
this is Karen's case before and after, and I tell you, the thing that really turned my key for Pearlfect was the fact that, you know, I've shown this case now for a couple of years in lecture, and if you don't tell the dentist that those are indirect composite, they think they're porcelain. You know, I think we have achieved a level of aesthetics and
photographed about a month ago. So this would be, give or take 18 years, give or take a year. Now the advantage I see with this, and a little bit like what Moshe's talking about, is you can see this is effective here aesthetically, but if I polish that, I could probably bring that back to an aesthetic level that's acceptable. And I sure as hell can't do that with porcelain, and obviously can't do it with a porcelain piece of metal crown. So look at this one now. This isn't bad. 18 years. This one's virtually perfect.
We have a material that is good. It fits well and it's biocompatible. Here is what I really like to share with you, and this is where I'm excited. When you look on the two cuspids on the lingual, that's where the patient functions really heavily. This patient is a semi-bruxer. He's got long cuspids, and what I found 4 years later, and I found that the enamel and the veneer had flattened through this excursion and became a very flat surface with no breakage. In other words, the wear on the enamel, the wear on the veneer were equally and did not seem to have any kind of incompatible with that and did not break.
not only that, no ditch between the components.
There's no ditch.
Right.
It's a perfectly harmonious, functional cuspid.
Yeah.
Also, if you look on the two centroids, you will find wear or breakage there. It's not breakage. What it is, it's a wear facet. This patient have the habits to slide his lower jaw and grind. So I would say to the ones of you here that do porcelain veneers, Dr. A did 10,000, Dr. Jeff did 40,000. This is not a typical to see in porcelain. Would you agree, Dr. A? This is the guy that I just showed you his wear on the incisors, and 4 years later, looks just as good as the day we put in 4 years later.
We believe we can do a procedure, diagnosis, impression taking in one, visit, and that's half an hour procedure, and in essence, a half an hour procedure to do a 10-unit veneer case. And
See 10 units in half an hour?
you'll be able to see that today.
I think what we're talking about there, though, to be honest, we're trying to compare as close as we can, apples to apples. So, you know, your patient comes in and the diagnosis and the consultation you're going to do with the veneer patient, whether you're going to do a no-prep, Pearlfect type restoration or a prepped out traditional veneer, is going to be about the same. So, actually, in that hour, we're not really throwing that in. What we're throwing in is, okay, the patient's been diagnosed, we talked to them, we made our financial arrangements, they're convinced that this is what they want to do. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start from taking the impressions or that preparation, first appointment, and the seat. And we can do all that within an hour. So as far as the consultation, diagnosis, treatment plan, and all that, you know, that's going to probably be, depending on all of us, how we do it, perhaps another hour. For some of us, maybe another 5 minutes.
Relax, because actually we're done with this. And the fact is, it was 30 minutes.
Yeah. I had
So the
actually
only
even less
thing-
than that. I had 5 after 2 when you started.
Right, so what we have here is the next 10 minutes that we have left is just the
Why don't we get us back?
Yeah, we want to see that.
You go to a dentist to address these issues?
Yeah, and my mom recently like had braces, and he offered me braces, and I just didn't want to do that.
Why did you want braces?
Well, my mom, I don't know, I didn't like what I saw that she had to go through. I didn't want to have metal in my mouth for a long time. I don't know, it's just a long, involved, painful process I didn't feel good about doing.
So if you ruled out also the braces, did he offer you anything else?
I mean, the social media is a killer today. So,
But podium has big influence and hands-on has big influence.
yes.
I would start to run this through my code group immediately, which is the Consortium of Operative Dentistry Educators. And we just had our meeting, and I couldn't say anything about this because I had no experience with it yet, like we do today. But this is what we're looking for in the dental schools, foolproof stuff.
Going direct to the public.
Right.
Let's face it. I mean, that's the power today of all the social media and the traditional media.
But Mike, you're going to need a network of doctors then to do that.
Well, you already got them right here. Every part of the country is now represented.
That's true.
I mean, this is pretty much it. We need the state of Washington, but I could set that up easily through UW.
Well, assuming Moshe doesn't screw up, okay? You know, assuming that.
Moshe, I want to know how you're going to do all this.
What?
He's done.
He has 9,000 square feet underneath us. It's empty.
And assuming Chris doesn't screw up, so you know,
right.
if, you know, then you know it looks pretty much of a done deal. Because you know, I talked to Moshe at lunchtime, like what you were saying, Mark. I mean, I have 2 patients lined up right now. They're ready to go, and one is a full veneer case, and one is just 2 centrals, and totally different. Because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for different uses. But you also could look for some posteriors, because I mean,
That's what we.
That's what
I'm trying to understand. I mean, right now you're all going into this no prep or some prep veneer, but you know, I've been doing indirect composites for 20 years. I mean, and I think that, you know, as we talked 15 years ago, where we want to go, or I think the future restorative material is going to be a composite resin until we clone an animal. But you know, basically what you're talking about is going after the Emax market right now. But, so I don't know if you wanna, are you trying to just get it out there first for the, you know, the veneer market, and then work posterior, or are you just, or do you wanna bring them out at the same time?
I would tell you the truth, the biggest and the best application for that, it's a full muscle construction. It's the most forgiving material.
Right.
It's a comfortable material, it resembles natural, and it's repairable, and that's really the true application here, is when you have an extensive, comprehensive treatment.
I just found a third patient.
Now, let me,